Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Wix e-commerce workshop. We're going to talk to you about how to launch a successful Facebook ad campaign. I'm Liat. I lead e-commerce marketing at Wix. I'll be your host today. And joining me, we have our very special guest. It is Amit from our Facebook ads team. So Amit, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Amit. So I lead the product for the Facebook and Instagram ads product. Super excited to be here today and looking forward to sharing with you some really cool insights on the product.
Very cool. We're excited to have you, Amit. So today we're going to be talking about the opportunity that you have for your business on Facebook and Instagram, some best practices for how to prepare your online store for that kind of paid promotion. Amit is going to share with us the secrets behind the Wix Facebook ads algorithm, and he's also going to show us how to launch a new Facebook ad campaign and how to track your performance. And of course, we'll be answering as many of your questions as we can today. So let's get started with the opportunity with Facebook and Instagram. The first thing that I'd like to say here is that thank you so much for joining us today. I know it has been a really crazy week for most of you. We're coming off of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. I hope that for many of you, it's been a very successful weekend of sales. And I know that with that, there's a lot of hard work this season. But I want to tie in directly off of that, because you may be asking yourselves, why are we talking to you about Facebook ads just after we're coming off of that weekend? Well, because now is the perfect time for you to set up those ads for two reasons. One, you're going to make the best of the remaining couple of weeks of the holiday season and make sure you're reaching all of those relevant last-minute shoppers. And two, because, and Amit's going to talk about this in detail, part of what our product does is it retargets shoppers coming to your site. So you want to make sure that you're retargeting all of those potential shoppers who are coming to your website during the holiday season and following up with them and making sure that you're closing the deal. So this is really great timing to be setting up your ads. And even better than that, we're setting you up for a great new year as we're heading towards 2021. So let's dive into the opportunity a little bit. Obviously, billions of people around the world use Facebook and Instagram every day. And that for businesses and marketers is a great opportunity because you have a captive, engaged audience. And we know that 8 million businesses around the world already sell on those platforms and enjoy a lot of benefits. They have low cost per acquisition. There's the immediacy of getting your ad in front of a potential shopper and closing that deal. And you also have the benefit of being able to target very specific audiences. So you can go after exactly your customer base or your target audience. But alongside that amazing potential come challenges. So the first one being, and this is probably true for most businesses running their e-commerce business, is that there are bigger businesses with huge marketing budgets and marketing experts in their payroll who are competing with you in those channels. So that means they're always going to be able to outperform you or outperform your ads and get to those customers before you. And the other one is a gap in knowledge, right? Really, to be able to run great Facebook and Instagram marketing, you need to be an expert in online marketing in order to become successful. And not every e-commerce business is an expert yet or has an expert in the team yet. So let's talk about what you want to do there and then how we're going to help you guys deal with those challenges. So I think in terms of the potential of Facebook and Instagram ads, you really are able to achieve a lot of your marketing goals, but you need to go into it being super clear on what you're trying to do. So one piece of homework is make sure that you know who your target audience is, you know who you're trying to get to. And again, Amit's going to cover this, but that's a really important base before running any kind of paid campaign on Facebook or Instagram. And then you also want to be thinking about your ideal results. So with Facebook and Instagram, there are both really great ways to A, reach out to totally new prospects, people who've never come in contact with your brand or product before. It's a great way to drive more or better traffic to your online store. And it's also a really great way to re-engage past customers. So this is what is often referred to as remarketing or retargeting. And Amit is also going to talk to us about that a little bit later today. But it's really important that you are constantly tracking your results and trying to optimize off of that. And ultimately, with both Facebook and Instagram, you really are able to scale, right? Not many other platforms offer this magnitude of audience, and also automations for setting that up, and especially with the product by Wix that we're going to touch on today. So we actually wanted to share with you some data off of our network of selling stores. So today we have over 500,000 selling stores around the world on Wix. And we took a look at their numbers over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend to see which channels were most effective for them. And you can see that in terms of paid channels, Facebook and Instagram are the highest performing paid advertising channels. The only things that are outperforming them are kind of the direct marketing channels. So like email marketing, reaching out directly to your existing customer base, or customers who are just coming directly to your site or doing organic searches. So definitely huge, huge potential for our sellers on Facebook and Instagram. So what we want to talk about for a second before we dive into the product with Amit is how to get your store ready, because we really want to make sure that we're setting up your store for success once you start your Facebook campaign. So there are a few things that you need to take into consideration. Number one is your product pages. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to promote your products on Facebook and Instagram ads, and those ads are going to lead directly back to your product pages. So always remember that in e-commerce, customers do not have the option to interact directly with your product or with your store, right? They don't get to come and touch and try things on or see you standing behind the till. What they see is your product page and your website. So you need to make sure that those are performing really well and convincing shoppers that they want to buy this product from your website. So you need to have really strong product names that clearly describe what the product is. Even clearer descriptions that include all of the relevant information for your shoppers, features, specifications, benefits, depending on what you sell, maybe ingredients. Really get into the nitty-gritty of the details so shoppers know everything about it. Make sure you have high quality images of your product, right? This is the opportunity for people really to see your product and understand what they're getting. If you have videos, even better, use them. And another little tip that I'll add here is I always like to say that it's great if you can add user reviews to your product pages. I know as a shopper myself, like one of the things I love most when I go to an e-commerce site is when I see what other people are saying about the product. And I love to look at the photos that they're posting of the products that they're buying, right? Because sometimes it's hard to tell from the store's photos. And I don't know, what does it look like when I put it on? Like it looks great in the picture, but what's it actually going to look like on me? And then I see somebody else who bought it and tried it on. That's awesome. Make sure you're simplifying that whole buyer experience, right? You want to make it easy for people to buy. So clear CTAs, big buttons, minimal text. Remove unnecessary fields, unnecessary clicks, that seamless journey from adding to cart to buy, and also making sure that you're giving your shoppers enough payment options and the right payment options for them. So this is going to come down to you really knowing your audience. You don't want to lose a customer just because technically they can't pay you. Make sure you communicate everything about your fees and policies on the site, like upfront before they actually get to the cart. Don't surprise people with fees like taxes or shipping that they don't know is coming. Communicate that before they get to the cart. And also make sure you're displaying all your policies, shipping policies, refund and return policies. If you're running a special promotion, then the policy for that, right? Really make it easy for buyers to know what they're getting into. And of course, make sure you are recovering abandoned carts. So set up those email automations to recover your abandoned carts. So once you've done all this homework, now we're going to be ready to dive into some of the details with Amit about what is this product from Wix for running my Facebook ads. So essentially, Wix has a really great tool that's going to let you create, run, and track paid ad campaigns on Facebook and Instagram. So Amit, now come the hard questions, right? So Wix is going to do this for my e-commerce business. Talk to me about the advantage of using Wix.
Sure. So thanks, Liat. I think that, I'm sure many of you have already tried advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and we know that it can look simple, but at the end of the day, it really requires this expertise. And what we're trying to do with this product is really to simplify the entire process and also to make sure you're going to get the best results. And I'm going to talk about this advantage in detail. So first of all, let's start with the type of ads that we're using. So we built this product after years of testing, a lot of POCs and testing on actual users, finding the best recipe that is going to bring success. And what we're offering today is called dynamic product ads, which are very unique type of ads that are smart and dynamic and adjust themselves based on the audience's interests and engagement with the ad. I'm going to show that in a second when I show you the product. In addition, we make sure that all of the technical side is covered on our end. So from setting up your Facebook pixel, making sure you have that installed on your site, and making sure that your product, your store catalog is uploaded to Facebook. All of that we're handling. Wait, let me continue.
So before you share, Amit, I just wanted to really ask some questions here to help everyone understand, because you're an expert, you're a really smart guy. You've been doing Facebook ads deep for a long time. And I can say, even for me as a marketer, Facebook ads can be complicated. Certainly understanding the ins and outs of the platform really takes expertise. So I wanted to understand a little bit about what this means, Wix does it for me. So I know one of the really great advantages is that you start to learn about my website, about shoppers coming to my website, and then which of those shoppers, convert the best. And then you do two things. One is you kind of hunt them down on Facebook, right? You do that retargeting. So if somebody came to the site, right, you're going to go, hit them up with these ads wherever it is that they are online. So that's one really great thing that Wix is already doing for you. And the other really cool thing is that you're essentially learning what are more potential customers for me, right? That's the lookalike audience that you're talking about creating, right? So off of shoppers that I have, you can predict which other shoppers are going to work for my business.
Yeah, so you're already giving a sneak peek of what I was going to say, but let me continue sharing my screen. So exactly what you said, what happens is, besides the process of the setup, which is usually, it involves some technical side, and that's where we handle all of it. There's the optimization and learning part, which you just mentioned, which usually I think that's the main pain point for many small, medium businesses. And that's where usually you would hire someone to help you, or you would have to invest a lot of time in understanding what works. And what this algorithm, I like to call it your personal marketing assistant that does it all behind the scenes. So the algorithm create different types of audiences on Facebook and on Instagram. For example, remarketing, like you said, those are users who've already showed interest on the site. They visited the site and maybe they added an item to cart, and basically we're able to hunt them down and show them the ad over and over. And this usually works in converting and leading them to make a purchase. In addition, there's the lookalikes, which is a really cool feature. And what it does is it takes existing audiences, for example, people who've liked your page on Facebook or follow you on Instagram, and then we find similar people in the ecosystem of Facebook and Instagram, and we target them as well. And this way we can really find the people who are most likely to buy your products. And that's all done behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about a thing. Just, make sure the campaign is running and come back to track and see how it's doing.
So that's really amazing. I think, being able to rely on an expert like that, almost like having your own agency running these ads for you, is a huge relief and a huge assistance to a lot of businesses who don't have that expertise in-house yet. So Amit, I would love if you would actually show us how we're going to set this up.
Sure. Okay, so it starts with this welcome screen. And the first step is really simple. You have to connect your Facebook account with your Wix site, and make sure you provide us with the permissions in order to advertise on your behalf. So that's a really simple, smooth process. Then when you finish the connect, you will see your Facebook business pages, if you have one or more, and you can select the one that you want the campaign to run on. I must say here that, you must have a Facebook business page. So you cannot use your personal Facebook account. That's mandatory in order to run ads on these platforms. And I have to say it's a best practice. So you would want to have this business page because that's usually how you would want to promote your business on social media.
Okay, great. So that actually answers one of the questions that we had here. So for the person asking us about personal accounts, I'm saying definitely you need a business page. So make sure that you're doing that setup. And then similarly, Amit, we're getting a question about the Facebook pixel. So people want to know if they need to set up the Facebook pixel on their website.
Cool. So great question. So as part of this seamless process, we would take the Facebook pixel. If you already have it installed in your site, we'll use that pixel, or we'll create one for you. And just in a word about the Facebook pixel, that's that snippet of code that we put on your site, and it helps us track users who are coming directly from the ad and performing actions on your site. So we can later on retarget them or use that data to optimize the ad.
Great. So you're saying either way works. If I have the pixel, you'll use what I have. And if I don't have it, then you'll create one for me.
Exactly.
Cool.
Great.
Okay.
So another question?
Let's continue.
So once I select the page, that's where the magic happens behind the scenes. We'll already create the ad. We take your store catalog and we upload it to Facebook automatically. And then you just get to this 4-step wizard. It's super simple. The first step, you already see a preview of how your ad would look like. It's a carousel, so it includes up to 10 products in a carousel. I must say that this is just an example of one of the many variations of the ad. Because it's a dynamic ad, different people on those platforms can see different creatives or different ads based on how they interact or their interests. So let's say, Liat, you can see this bag and I might see the shoes first, depending on what Facebook knows about us.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
that's really cool. And also, this is a spoiler, I would say, but we're going to roll out soon a new type of ad, a new type of creative. We call it classic ads. What it means is you'll be able to upload your own image, static image or video directly from the media manager, and create a campaign that's more focused on one messaging rather than your entire store catalog. So that's really exciting, and it's coming up really soon. So you're getting a sneak peek of it. That is
super exciting. So definitely a spoiler alert, but we're going to bring Amit back to talk about that once it rolls out. So actually, Amit, you just answered another question we had, which somebody wanted to know, can you create video ads with this product? So you're saying now we'll be able to, right?
Yes, exactly. You will be able to soon. And up until then, you can use our dynamic ads, which are performing really amazing. And here in the first step, in addition to choosing the format, you can choose specific products you want to promote. We recommend having as many products as possible so we can optimize and show the right products to the right people. And the caption, of course, the text that appears on top. Here, that's where you can choose the specific products. Another thing I want to say here is that everything is automatically synchronized with your store catalog. So whatever you upload and update on your site, if it's you're uploading new images or adding new products to your stock, it will automatically sync with your ad. So you don't have to worry about anything. Your ad will run and adjust accordingly.
Very cool. So Amit, we had one other question there just while you're on the topic of the product. Somebody wants to know if they only have one product, can they still use this?
Yeah, so you can still, the minimum is one product. One of the reasons we're adding static ads, the classic ones, are exactly for this use case, for people who want to promote one product or a small number of products, because that's where the dynamic part is less effective. But it's definitely available, and today you can run with one product. The creative itself would look a bit different. It will just show one image. So the answer is yes.
Great. And like maybe one little trick you could do there, if you have variants for that one product, if you can create the variants as single products, right? And then it can also test like just the variants of your product line on different audiences.
Cool. Moving on to the second step, which is the audience, setting your target audience. So Liat, you spoke about it before, understanding who is your target audience before you're actually doing the ad. I think that's really, really smart. So what happens here is that you can provide us with initial information that's going to help the algorithm find the most relevant audience. So starting from gender, the age range, interests, that's where you can be a bit more creative and think about those, the interests that your usual customer will have. And of course, the locations. We're going to use that information as a starting point and build on that. So we're going to test other audiences, like I've mentioned before, the lookalikes, the retargeting. We're going to use engaged audiences, so people who've liked or commented your posts before, and we know that they have some sort of interest. So all of that is going to happen on top of what you already define here. And that's really important to understand because that's the main added value of our product.
Amazing. So we have a question that maybe I'll ask you here. Somebody wanted to know, they're giving us a really specific example here, Amit. So maybe you can help them out on their target audience. So they say, my ideal customer is 20 to 40 years old, female, and loves New York City. So how should I define my target audience?
Okay, so first of all, it's good that you know your audience. That's a great start. So like I said, you can use those fields that you have here and add those that information. We're going to use that. So the more you can give us, the more you understand your audience from an early stage, that's going to help the algorithm bring results faster, because the learning phase is going to be much shorter. But just remember that you might be surprised, like you might discover that other people are interested in your products, and it might not be who you're expecting.
So you're saying we might discover that not only women who love New York City, maybe people who love LA or
maybe
I don't know.
Keep an open mind. But definitely, like, it can be men who, want to surprise their wives. So you never know. And at the end of the day, the idea is that the algorithm will find, based on good signals, he's going to find those best converting audiences and whatever is going to bring you business.
Excellent.
Cool. So moving on to the third step, that's where we defined our monthly campaign budget. So as you can see here, it ranges from $80 a month to $5,000. This budget, it's a monthly budget, so it renews every month, and 15%, 1-5, goes to Wix as a fee, and the rest goes to the ad spend, so directly to Facebook and Instagram for the advertising part.
Okay, so Amit, you got to hold your roll for a second, because now we have lots of questions. So audience, I will ask on your behalf. Amit, why are we paying 15% to Wix?
Okay, so if I haven't proven why there's an added value yet, I'll try to emphasize it again. Like I said, I think that what we're doing here is basically serving as your marketing experts. And usually you would pay this type of fee if it's to, an agency or some expert, or it's your time and and that also equals money. So here, this is happening behind the scenes, and it's happening throughout the entire campaign duration in order to make sure we get the best results. So the algorithm is working hard and making sure that we get to those best audiences, we test them, we use the budget in the smartest way possible, and get those conversions.
Very cool. So while we're talking about budget, we have a couple of questions, and people want to know, like, what is the ideal budget to start with? Because you're giving a bunch of options, but like, if they want success, what is the range they should be starting?
Yeah. So it's a tricky question. I must say that it really depends. Like, what I can say is that the more you invest, the more money you invest, the higher the chances the ads will be seen by the right people. However, many times we see users who are starting with the lower budgets and giving it time. And once they start seeing good signals, that's when they decide to increase their budget. So what's really nice about this product, and you'll see in a few minutes, is that we have our dashboard. And that's when we provide you with data and insights on the campaign performance. And we help you make smart decisions afterwards. So you'll understand that your campaign is doing well, and that's the point where you want to go higher.
That's really important. So essentially, you're letting me like grow my budget along with my business. And as I'm performing better, I guess, Amit, I'm hoping you're going to be recommending to me that it's time to increase budget.
Of course, that's part of the personal marketing assistant.
Very cool.
Great. So you really don't have to worry though. Like, starting with the lower budget is totally fine. We're able to bring amazing results also with those type of budgets. And I'll show an example really soon. And at the end of the day, really make sure, like Liat explained before, that your site has all the essentials and it's ready for advertising, because that's really what's gonna help bring the results at the end of the day. So I think you need to look at the complete picture when you're assessing your campaign and your success. So basically that's it. Like, the fourth step is really simple. You're just seeing everything and making sure that you've defined it like you want. You can still come back and edit everything. And that's where you launch your campaign, you submit the purchase, and you get to the dashboard. So usually it takes about 24 hours till the campaign is approved by Facebook. And then you can track it from your Wix account on desktop or on mobile as well in the Wix app. It's also available there. So there's a lot of information. I'm gonna go through it in detail in a minute. But before I do that, I want to show you examples of the communication. So once your campaign is up and running, we want to make sure that you know how it's doing at any given point. So we're going to send happy moment emails when you're making your first sale or when the campaign is live. And then every week, we're going to send a digest email with a summary of your results. and an option to go to the dashboard to see it more in detail. And I have some really cool examples of some ads that are currently running of our users. So as you can see, it's going to run in different placements. That's also part of the optimization. It's going to run both on Facebook and on Instagram and in different placements. So it can be in Facebook, Instagram story, or it can be in Facebook feed. And then based on the signals, we're going to optimize that as well. So that's another really.
So, I mean, just so I understand this correctly, you're just taking my product images and you're creating like all these variations, like the story posts, the feed posts, the Instagram, Facebook. I don't need to work on any of the creatives for this.
Right. Everything is done automatically based on the store catalog. And it's super simple, super easy. It's important to say that it's being done on those platforms because sometimes we discover that Instagram works much better for some people. So this is like a really cool added value. And you don't have to, adjust it every time for each platform. So that's really cool. And I want to give a really nice example of a user from Greece who's selling, she has a women's clothing line. So I want to show you her dashboard, just so you understand exactly how it looks. So what you see here is the Facebook ads dashboard. So it starts from, I just want to give you some details on the campaign, which you can see here. So the campaign started in October 16th, not so long ago, with a budget of $129 a month. Again, like I said, not a high budget, and I'm going to show you the results in a minute. So in the campaign overview section, that's where you see all the insights and performance on your campaign. So here on the left, you have the top statistics. I'm going to start with the engagement. So that's how people are engaging with your ad on Facebook and Instagram. You can see the total amount of views, how many people we were able to reach, how many total clicks. So it can be just swiping the carousel or clicking on one of the products, and then how many people actually visit the site. And the performance tab, that's, I think, the interesting part. So you'll see the amount of orders that you got directly from the campaign, the revenue, how much you've spent so far. And then I think the most important metric is the ROAS, which is the return on ad spend. And that's how much you're earning divided by how much you've spent. And that's really an indicator of your campaign success. In this case, it's pretty amazing.
So, Amit, I don't think you're doing it justice. Let me just ask you my dumb math questions for a second. You're telling me that so far, this lady has spent 348 euros on her campaigns and sold through her Facebook ads for almost 5,000 euros.
You're right. Yeah.
And she's getting almost 1,400% return on her ads. Wow, that's amazing. That's a really great result.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And we have many more users like this who are really getting amazing results. And I guess it's, they have good products, they have a good site, and it's just, getting the word out and exposing it to the right people. And it's going to bring you results, especially with this algorithm that's working behind the scenes. So this is a great example. And I want to give you some more information on this dashboard because you're going to get more insights, even beyond the ad itself. So here on the right, you can see the purchase funnel. That's the funnel that is directly coming from your ad. So starting from how many people viewed a product on your site, how many added an item to cart, how many got to the checkout, and how many made a purchase. So this is really important because you want to understand where are the main drops and if there's anything you can do to even improve your conversion rate. In this case, we can look at the point from viewing the product to adding item to cart. We can always optimize and improve our product pages. I think Liat spoke about it before in detail. You can always look at the product images, the information that you're providing, making sure that you're constantly improving that, trying different things, and seeing if it has a positive impact. And that's something you can learn from this funnel here.
So, I mean, let's talk about that funnel for a second. So like on this one, if I were looking at this, I would be saying, like, I see that there's some kind of drop happening after people are viewing products, right? So I'm guessing like we're managing to bring the traffic to the site, but then it looks like something maybe is going a little bit wrong on the site. And this is where you're going to want to look into that stuff like improving your product pages, descriptions, images, maybe like that buyer flow of how people are then adding to cart or getting to the checkout. So, I mean, in these kind of instances, like if something isn't working in my campaign, how am I going to know? Like if I don't really know how to analyze what's happening, but I'm not seeing great results, what would you do?
Yeah, so I think in this case, it might look like, you might be having a problem, but it's not necessarily the case. I think that we're getting results, so that's already a good sign. Obviously, we can always improve, but there are cases where we want to recommend some sort of fix or improvement that you can make in order to get better results. So that's where this part, the card you see here on top, that's where we communicate throughout the entire campaign what's really happening and how your campaign is doing. So in cases where we recommend to improve something, that's where you see a different messaging here. It can be that we're recognizing that the CTR, the click-through rate, is low, and not many people are clicking the ad. So that's where we want to look at the product images. Potentially, we can improve them. Or it can be the caption that appears on top of the ad. We might want to, try a different take and have something that's calling to action, maybe an incentive, something that's going to help users click the ad and get to the site. So we're going to help you and guide you through the process and make sure that it's communicated here in the dashboard.
Amazing. So I actually have a couple of other questions, I guess, relating to the dashboard. So one question that we have is, how does the billing for the campaign get paid? Is it through our regular Facebook advertising account?
Okay, good question. So everything is done through your Wix account. So you don't have to go, like nothing is happening in the Facebook platform. You don't have to even go to Facebook to see anything. Okay, everything is being handled on the Wix side, including the payment and including the tracking of your campaign. So I think that's another big added value because we're just trying to, give you a one-stop shop and really simplify the whole thing.
Amazing. So I'm just managing all of that from here, from my Wix dashboard, and obviously my Wix account. We have another question regarding the return on ad spend. So is there a benchmark for what that should be?
So definitely there is like I would say a general benchmark, but don't take me for this because like it really depends on the industry again, like a conversion rate and those metrics who are really specific to the industry. But I would say like above 300% ROAS, that's usually an indicator of a really good campaign. But it really depends on the product, on the pricing, how much, it costs to produce the product. Like it really depends. So in some cases it can even be lower. In some cases it can be higher.
Amazing. Okay, so there's a basic benchmark there, but again, I think do the research for your industry, and there's a lot of information out there on the web, so you can get a good indication of like what your benchmark should be. Right. We have another question here. Can you change your ad campaign pictures every month?
So you can. The images are taken directly from the product pages. So it's usually the main image that you have in your product page. That's the one we're going to use. In cases where you want to change that or freshen up the images, you can do that through your Wix store, and then it will be reflected in your ad. And like I said, the classic ads are coming up soon, and that's where you're going to be able to really upload and customize it directly from the Facebook ads product.
Very cool.
Great. So we spoke about the purchase funnel, and now I want to show you another really cool part of the dashboard, which is the audiences. So what you see here is a breakdown of I would say the top performing audiences. So it starts from the gender. In this case, mostly female are ordering, making orders, but there are also different metrics you can look at. If it's clicks, which you see a similar trend here. There's the age range. So you see the distribution of the age groups. Of course, the locations. So you'll see the top 5 countries and regions. In this case, she's very focused on Greece. So it's mostly like the regions where we see some insights, and the distribution between Facebook and Instagram. In this case, Facebook is working really nicely. For other users, it might be really different. And we see that Instagram is the leading platform. And that's something you can learn from here. I must say that the algorithm uses information. So when we see that Facebook is doing better, we will allocate more budget to that platform. So you don't really have to worry. Okay, this information is more about just exposing it and learning what works. It doesn't necessarily require you to do anything. So that's an important point. And then the last part is the ad engagement over time. That's where you see the performance of your ad throughout. You have, again, you can see different metrics. So the views, the clicks, and the site visits. I'm sure you're like asking yourselves about the drop you see here. Maybe the ad is not performing so well. So I want to say, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that. So what we do see a lot of the times is that in the beginning, the algorithm like tries with a big audience. We would, show the ad to basically everyone. And then we narrow it down to the most relevant audiences. So when it drops, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not performing well. It means that we're finding those, we're pinpointing the most relevant audience. So again, it's not an indicator of something going wrong.
Got it. So you mean like my marketing assistant is getting better at knowing my audience, and now you don't have to show everyone my ad. You only show it to people who you know are going to engage well with it.
Yeah, because with time, like the remarketing, for example, it gets better because we get more data, more people are visiting the site, we can retarget them. And that's when, the pool is getting smaller, but it's a higher quality of people who are seeing the ad again and again.
Amazing.
And there are many more options here. So you can always change the time frame. If it's Black Friday weekend and you're interested in a specific time frame of a few days, you can always change it here and look at the data for that specific time. And in campaign actions, you can always edit the campaign. I think if you're asking yourselves, should I edit the campaign on a regular basis? My answer is not too often, but definitely on a seasonal basis. So if there's a special event or it's Black Friday or Christmas is coming up and you want to use that opportunity to improve your messaging, make it more relevant. So definitely do that, edit your campaign and change the caption. Yeah, you can always do that. Also, you can stop your campaign at any given time. And it's all being done through the Facebook ads dashboard that you see here.
So Amit, one thing I wanted to ask was if you could maybe show us an example of the live ads, maybe for the user we were looking at.
So this is, there's a link from the dashboard itself, but you can always view your live ad. In this case, this is just an example of one of the many variations of the ad. you can see exactly how it looks and interact with the ad. So it's really cool. And again, like I showed you before, it adjusts depending on the platform. So this is a typical Facebook feed, but on Instagram story or feed, it will look a bit different. And yeah, it's all done automatically.
Thank you. So everyone, you can get to those ads of yours easily from the dashboard if you want to take a look at them from there. We do have a couple more questions to ask you. So one of the questions was if you're planning on adding any additional channels to the platform, so maybe like Twitter or LinkedIn.
So definitely, we're constantly researching and looking for new platforms and new channels to offer. I can give you a a teaser to 2021. So we're focusing now on researching Google Ads and the many options that Google offer when it comes to advertising and promoting your store. So a lot to look forward to in 2021. That's all I can say.
So that's definitely a big spoiler alert. And we will bring Amit back to talk about those. So somebody wanted to know if you think it's better for them to be super targeted on the audience in the beginning or to leave it more open so that the algorithm can learn the customer on its own.
So I would say, again, you can always customize and change it, but I would say try to be specific, maybe not too specific. So I'll give an example. Maybe like in the interest, you wouldn't want to say online shopping as an interest. That's really broad and doesn't really help us. But then again, you don't want to be really pinpointing just like one specific city or something like that. You want to try to expand and allow the algorithm to find the most converting audience. So find that medium balance, if that really answers the question, I hope.
Yeah, I think so. So give us something to work with, but leave us some room to test.
Exactly.
What if I have already started doing campaigns by myself on Facebook? Can I switch to letting Wix do that for me?
So of course, we have users who are running campaigns at the same time on the Facebook platform. That's totally fine. Like Facebook offers other options, other types of ads. So it doesn't necessarily hurt. And if it's something you want to test out and see how it's performing, we definitely allow that. And I think it's actually a good exercise. You can always try our product, see how it's doing, if it's working for your business, and decide based on that.
Very cool. Thank you, Amit. So of course, thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope that we were able to share some information with you guys and get you ready for the final leg of the holiday season. All of the recordings of our workshops are available at the Wix eCommerce School. Please join our community. You can join our forum or our Facebook group that we just mentioned. So before we sign off today, Amit, I would love to ask you for your final tip or advice for our audience as we leave them.
Cool. So first of all, thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I think that I know it's been like a crazy year, crazy few weeks, I'm sure, with all of the sales season, but I think you want to really use this momentum and finish the year strong and go into 2021 with your store ready and your ads ready to bring in new customers. And just take advantage, try something new. Our product really offers something different, and give it a go. And this is the time.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better. I agree. Make sure that you're ending up the year strong, make the most of what you have left. Also make sure that you're getting that final push of retargeting in there. So we really recommend that you guys check out the product. Thank you so much. We wish you all a happy holiday season and some final good sales before you close shop for the year. So thank you, everybody.